The 1964 rape and murder of Kitty Genovese awakened social psychologists to the power of social behavior. Though 38 neighbors heard her cry, they were hesitant to call the police. The Kitty Genovese case also exemplifies the bystander effect, which is the tendency for any given bystander to be less likely to give aid if other bystanders are present. John Darley and Bibb Latané created a decision scheme. We will only help if the situation enables us to first notice the incident, then to interpret it as an emergency, and finally to assume responsibility for helping at each step. The presence of each bystander turns people away from the path that leads to helping. If only one person is there, he or she usually takes action. Having many people around during an emergency resulted in a diffusion of responsibility. This is because our responsibility level is watered down.
Courtyard, so we know that people were seeing this. Nobody called the police.
Somebody who lived on the 7th floor opened his window and yelled out, "What's going on down there?" When Mosley heard somebody yelling out, he ran back to his car, Kitty was still alive. She managed to get up. She staggers around the corner here, still screaming. People in that building heard her as well, and she collapses inside this hallway. There's one apartment above there. It was occupied by Carl Ross. Carl opened his door at the time that Mosley returns, and he saw the second attack taking place. And he did nothing.
After stabbing Kitty another 8 times in this very hallway, the killer ran away, leaving Kitty to bleed to death.
For our final psych project, we decided to do a project involving the bystander effect, and we wanted to test out whether or not this would hold true at Lowell.
Show that the best odds of someone helping take place when the person seems to need help. There are several factors which include: the person seems similar to us, we have just observed someone else being helpful, we are not in a hurry, we are in a small town or rural area, we are feeling guilty, we are not preoccupied, we are in a good mood. This is one of the most consistent findings. When people are happy, they are more inclined to help. We help others if we weigh the costs and benefits, and the benefits outweigh the costs. This is called either the social exchange theory or cost-benefit analysis.
To test this out, we devised an experiment where one of us, mainly Michael though, went by and dropped their stuff next to someone. We would drop these objects in close proximity to someone else or a group, and we would record whether or not they would notice or help the person pick it up. After the experiment is over, we go and debrief the group of people that we just did. Our hypothesis for this experiment is that if there's one person, then they're much more likely to help us out. And if they are in a group, they are less likely. Furthermore, if there's a group of one guy and multiple females, the guy might be more inclined to help out, to make himself look good. There are many variables that affect how our experiment will go. The manipulative variable is the amount of people in the group. Our control for this is one person, and we have different amounts of people per group. And our manipulated variable is the amount of whether or not they will help us or not. And there are also many other compounding variables, such as whether they know Michael or not. And if they know Michael, they are much more likely to help him out. One of the main experimental flaws that we have is that we don't have a complete random sampling, because we only tested whether or not the people in 7th block would respond or not. And this would change to the outcome of what we thought, because block 7 people who might have block 7 off, might think differently than people who have block 5 off. Another flaw is that we dropped 2 different things instead of just dropping one thing. We dropped both tennis balls and a binder, but if we kept it standard, and then we would have had a much more reliable result.
Running through the black night, I'm sure I had the green light, car ran over. I thought that I would die. Then from the X-ray back to the rat race, I wanna win this. And now that I'm alive, all these streets look different, like I'm born. It's hard for dreamers when city's never sleeping, but we're gonna make it, and though we don't know how. I pay a high price for the joy of a free ride, 'cause I got you, and now that's all that counts. There in the dark, down in the valley, under the motel neon sign, room 105, at the back of the alley. You're wearing my coat while sleeping. It feels like I've come home. Oh, yeah, it feels like I've come home. Oh, this I know, right from the start, like it's the first time. It finally feels like coming home. There in the dark, down in the valley, under the motel neon sign.